It is very difficult for any daughter to speak about her father, especially when the relationship was not merely of a father and daughter, but one of comradeship ever since of my early childhood. I think each one of us in the process of growing must suppress parts of our personalities and stress only one or two parts. The difference between my father and other people is that my father allowed all his personalities full play. Therefore, he was simultaneously interested in every aspect of life. I think he was a real teacher, and most of what I know came from him. Even for the people of India who have heard him must have noticed that each speech was not to make points but was an effort to teach people. Even when he spoke in tribal areas to rural people, he spoke about the discoveries of science, about the trends of history, and about the forces that were at work in our world. Many people thought that his speeches were too long, and they thought that they were boring because the subjects are familiar. But to those of us who visited some of those villages later, we saw the impact that had been made, and I think that this was one of the reasons why in the most backward areas of India today there is an acceptance of new ideas and new methods. There is an interest in what is happening in the world. While he was a teacher, at the same time he was also a student. He believed that one never ends learning, and the day one thinks one knows everything there is to know, the day one closes one's mind, that day one is not really alive. As a student, he was constantly learning, absorbing knowledge and factors and so on, not merely from those whom one would have thought more learned, because amongst his friends he counted some of the topmost scientists, writers and artists of the world. So, to him, India's unity was a very real thing. He felt that every individual in India has something to learn and a great deal to contribute to the country. I am naturally glad that a center is being formed here in his name, but I do not think that it is necessary. I think if the whole of India is his memorial, the direction that India is taking is his memorial, because I remember having travelled with him not just after independence, but when I was a very small child. Today we have poverty, but I think that the picture of poverty is totally different at the beginning of the century. Today there are very few pockets in the country where one will see anybody with a dull expression. There is aliveness in our people, and it is this which is the real strength of the country.